Matt and Luke's Sci-Fi Sanctuary.
The year is 3013. The galaxy is scintillating in the mellow light. Two galactic pilgrims seek out vistas in the samurai future to bring forth the unity of the cosmic shaman. Opening the door of the pantheon of mystics, the evil sorcerer wizard powers the engine of science, seeking to forever alter the sacred balance, traveling on effervescent balls of summer fire.
This week, Bill and Ted face the music.
In the year 2020, we finally got Bill and Ted 3, and it saved the world.
All right, world saved. I guess that's one of the longer spans between sequels. Is Blade Runner supposed to be the winner in that one now?
Yeah, but this is more of a direct sequel than that is.
Oh,
like
right.
Harrison Ford has like a cameo in that.
Yeah. But there's something else that has a really long.
If
sequel.
you forget the prequels existed, then Star Wars.
Yeah, we can't.
But yeah, you can't.
Tron was pretty.
Tron
long.
was a long time, yeah.
Tron might have been longer. No, it was about the same actually when you boil it all down. So okay. But yeah, keeping the same actors in the primary spots is, I guess, something that typically doesn't happen when you wait that long between sequels.
Yeah.
They already tried this with Dumb and Dumber, which wasn't a good place to try it with. So.
Oh yeah, they did do one with the actual guys because they did that one with like different actors.
Yeah, they did the prequel, and then they did another one with the actual guys, and it was not very good.
I feel like there's another one that I'm forgetting that they literally did, but oh well, it doesn't really matter, does it?
Yeah. This is a pretty nice span, but keeping that much of the original DNA was pretty impressive.
Not only does it bring back the cast, it really feels like a sequel.
Right.
Like this is just the third Bill and Ted film.
Yeah, it could have come out in '95. It couldn't because they actually need to be older, don't they? But
Yeah.
I know they started working on the script in 2010. I think. Well, before
No,
that.
they started working on a script, pretty much right after Bogus Journey.
Right. But
they had a final version of this script in 2010.
There we go. Okay. Yeah.
But it's like it basically was like a wine. The longer you leave it, the better it's going to be because it's about them being old.
Yes.
So.
But I think this is. I mean, I guess we're going to see Tenet at some point. That's what we're like looking forward to. It's a Nolan film. We don't know anything about it, as we've said before.
Right.
Otherwise, I think this is the only film this year that there aren't many films to look forward to. But I don't really.
There were two films I was really psyched about, and they've both been pushed back to next year.
What are those?
Godzilla vs. Kong, and Monster Hunter.
Okay, well, I see where that hit your buttons.
Is Black Widow even coming out this year now?
Nothing's coming out this year.
That seemed like it was
this
done.
This year. Yeah, I don't know.
I thought, we're just going to call next year 2020 and pretend it. Yeah, because the calendar's going to roll over to 2021 and all the problems are going to go away.
Exactly. I think the Marvel universe is over. There won't be any more.
Yeah, I think it kind of has.
You really?
Well,
put
they
a cap
needed to
on it.
take a year off, right?
Yeah, but now they can just put a cap on it.
Well, they are definitely still making at least a third Spider-Man.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be some more stuff, but yeah, they certainly.
Because I felt like they were rushing too much to bring more out after Endgame. So this has actually been kind of perfect for the Marvel Universe.
Yeah, but we're in the Bill and
Maybe
Ted
by the
universe,
time we get
so-
another one, I'll be happy about it.
Maybe, yeah, because I think we're all burnt out on that. Bill and Ted, like you said, like a wine, waiting for it was cool. But yeah, I think it's been in the past 2 years, I'd start seeing things in the news, new Bill and Ted, Keanu's in. I'm like, well, that's weird. And they're actually filming it. Oh, that's weird. Oh, it's finished. That's weird.
But even as I'm hearing this news, it didn't feel like it was going to come out.
I know.
It didn't feel real, right?
It just doesn't. I guess Alex Winter's been off the map so far as screen presence, and Keanu, it's like, no, he can't do that anymore. And that said, as perfect as it is, his stance is too cool usually in this movie. Ted in the original movies definitely looks a little dumpier, just the way he stands.
No one can do Ted, including Keanu Reeves at this point.
Yeah.
Because, like I said in Bogus Journey, it's kind of weird when they possess his dad and he tries to be a Ted. And the daughter in this, Little Bill, can't quite stand like Ted.
I thought she was
They were
pretty
really
good at it.
but her stance was weird.
Because she's an attractive actress, right?
Yeah.
But she did Ted well enough that I found her unattractive.
I know what it is. It's because she wasn't wearing baggy clothes. So you can see the weird-ass stance. Whereas when Ted does it, you can't really see it, right?
That might be it.
So it's just like, oh, his clothes are hanging on him weird. But here it's like, oh, that's really gawky and bizarre.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I guess it's a testament to the acting. I was like, okay, I know she's actually quite attractive, but she's not in this movie, which is the point. I mean, she shouldn't be. So, so it worked out pretty well. But I don't know. Any other opening thoughts you want to get through, or should I get down to it?
I think, well, are we going to do it the way we normally do it with a new release, where we do a spoiler-free section and then we'll go more spoiler?
If you want a spoiler-free, do it now, because I'm going to read the entire plot.
Oh, yeah, of course you are. Well, yeah, because the difference is, normally when we do a brand new film, we've just watched it at the theatre, right? But it's 2020, we didn't do that.
They don't have theaters in it. Well, actually, we have a theater across, but it's just
it's bizarre. It's all
films.
Japanese films, because nothing Western is coming out at the moment.
They do have a Tenet poster, which is not out here yet. But
Yeah.
But this is. I think everyone has seen this one streaming or whatnot. So did anyone go to the theater for it?
They did. They had it in some theaters in the States, right? So I figured they might as well just bring it out in all the theaters here. But maybe Bill and Ted's just not that big.
Oh, in Japan, no, it's not that big.
I don't think I've ever seen any reference to it anywhere.
Right.
Like Back to the Future's huge hit.
Yes.
But Bill and Ted didn't quite land.
Well, I'll spoil everything then.
Alright.
I'm going to be the big spoiler.
Here's my spoiler 3 thoughts. It's really good. If you like Bill and Ted, watch the new Bill and Ted.
There we go. Now you can shut it off unless you want to get into spoiler land, the spoiler monster. Time for the spoiler. It's 2020, and Bill S. Preston Esquire and Ted Theodore Logan have yet to write the song that will unite humanity. The future comes a-ringing to tell them that they'd better have the song by 7:17 that evening, or the universe would basically collapse. Bill and Ted decide to steal the song from their future selves, first going 2 years in the future, finding themselves as depressed, divorced alcoholics who never wrote the song. Jumping 5 years ahead, a dandy-tized, seemingly successful Bill and Ted claim to have the song, but it turns out that they just broke into Dave Grohl's mansion and stole one of his songs. 10 years in the future, that Bill and Ted have been serving prison time for the mansion incident and are now buff as shit, but they still don't have a song. They do save the younger Bill and Ted from a killer paranoid android named Dennis, though. It seems the future has decided that maybe Bill and Ted must instead die by 7:17. Finally, jumping to the end of the story in 2067, an elderly dying Bill and Ted give their younger selves a song to play. Meanwhile, Bill and Ted's daughters, Billy and Thea, get their own futuristic time machine and go skipping backwards in time to collect the best musicians ever for the concert. They manage to find Jimi Hendrix, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, Louis Armstrong, flautist Ling Lung, a prehistoric drummer, and Kid Cudi to form the band to back the epic song. Unfortunately, just as the band comes together, they are all accidentally disintegrated by Dennis, who thought they were Bill and Ted. Bill and Ted find the now distraught Dennis and convinces the android to blast them all to hell, literally. In hell, Bill and Ted collect their daughters in the band and even convince their old bass player Death to rejoin the band. Returning to life and to the present, reality is in full collapse. But just as things are at the brink, Billy and Thea conduct the rockestra with their own song, Under a Highway. Everyone across space and time join in with the tune, and Bill and Ted get to wail on their guitars once more, making everything excellent. Yeah, we're on.
Oh shit, I was still eating a Pringle. So I guess we'll start with actors and cast and characters we usually do. We've got to start Bill and Ted.
Yeah. Everyone but George Carlin shows up, really, right? Cause
I will get to that in a minute. Because there are two who don't show up.
Yeah.
Noticeably and pretty bogusly and heinously.
Okay, so we'll start with Bill and Ted. Yeah, I mean, Alex Winter basically looks the same with a few
He
wrinkles.
looks and sounds exactly the same. It's incredible.
Like, in my memory of this film already, it's Bill with, like, exactly as he was in the old movies. Ted, of course, has just a few shades of Keanu over him now, like later Keanu, because how could he not at this point?
Somehow his voice has dropped so much deeper. And it makes him sound way older, whereas Bill still sounds pretty much the same.
Yeah, there's a few times where I'm like, is this Batman Keanu or John Wick Keanu? I guess would be a more relevant comparison, but, you know, sort of like, whoa, it's whoa.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, he's older, it's fine. As far as acting the part, it works out pretty well.
The big difference, they feel emotions in this film way more than they did in the previous two. And it makes the whole film just feel a little sad.
Well, it's like, because the old films, they were young, there was so much promise, and now they're
now they are
50s, like, and they don't...
rock stars whose career is behind them is sort of the vibe.
I mean, they were basically like Soul Asylum or, Trip and Daisy or something, like mildly successful, but they didn't set the world on fire.
Well, it seemed like they had like one number one hit, and then that was it. Like,
oh, I did love, what was it? Another disappointing attempt at music. As the title of their album was fantastic. I think there were some albums in the late 90s with some similar titles.
it was pretty good.
Or was it Fiona Apple who just gives her album like a paragraph as the title? That was fun. I like that too.
Well, this song had a pretty long ass title.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the three
Please
part.
enjoy the first three movements of like the chemical, biological, and philosophical meaning of love, part 1.
I thought it was hip. I listen to that sort of stuff on the train.
I know you definitely listen to that sort of stuff.
I throat sing for the kids sometimes, you know. It's snack time, let's have some snack.
Oh, I always do that.
Oh, yeah.
I end with one of those and I just shake my head until they make me stop. I'm like, it's snack time, let's have some
I often go for the throat singing or the dramatic high note.
Yeah.
That's the most fun.
No, yesterday I did an entire lesson as a robot. One of the kids was like, be a robot, and I started doing it, and they were all like enraptured, so they were listening to everything I told them to do, and I was like, I guess I'm a robot now for the next hour.
Next rest of the year.
Yeah. Do you think that bothers me?
But yeah,
one of them started joining in, so it's just me and like little Sosuke the robot. It was great.
This does have the best thing in any of the 3 Bill and Ted movies.
You talking about Derek?
Oh, he's fun too. Dennis, what's it?
Dennis. Dennis.
No. Dennis is fun, but that's not what I was getting at.
Okay, because he's yeah. What were you getting at?
I was getting at Buff Bill and Ted.
Buff Bill and Ted was great.
I love Buff Bill and Ted. I mean, like, when I saw the trailer, I'm like, what? And then when I saw the movie, I was like, yes, this is fantastic.
It's amazing. And they were doing that, like, war chant or whatever in the prison. And the whole thing of, like, is this a song? Yes, it is!
They got the Wild Stallions tattoos. Was Station a tattoo on them?
No, one of them was excellent.
Yeah, that was excellent. So, Yeah,
I would have liked it if that was the song that changed the world. They just started like a freaking revolution from prison. It turned out they were like super dictators, and that was why the future worshipped them.
So I definitely love Buff Bill and Ted. Dandy Fight. I do like how the future Bill and Teds were just like ridiculous in different ways each time.
Yeah, we never really got that at all because the two older films, they're just always playing the exact same Bill and Ted.
Well,
even when they're evil Bill and Ted, they're still the exact same.
Right, they're just like a day ahead, if anything, right? So these ones are just like way out ridiculous. Like, hey, if you don't fix things now, this is what happens.
That was great.
Yeah. Especially as someone who's played multiple depressing open mic nights.
And then I guess the next two you got to talk about Bill and Ted.
Yeah.
Little Bill and Little Ted.
Oh, you mean the daughters?
Yeah.
Theo and Billy, right?
Yeah.
A little different. It did take me, but wait, they flipped the names. Okay, they named them after each other.
That happens at the end of Bogus Journey.
Yeah, I know it does.
Yeah.
I didn't really compute for a while because I was writing the notes. And I was like, oh, wait, Thea's the other one. Okay, oops.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like, Bill can't name his daughter Bill, but Ted can name his daughter Bill.
Lee.
Like we talked about in the previous one, how Bill and Ted, sorry, this is back to Keanu and Alex, they are individual characters, but you have to have them as a unit. And that was like their big failing in this film.
Oh, right, they played here, so it's like, we love you.
We love you guys. Try making that sentence with I am Bill.
That's cool. I mean, it was. Come on, they sold themselves. There was never any deception. They sold themselves at that from the start.
Oh yeah. I loved it.
But yeah, the marriage counseling.
Well, that was very weird.
Fantastic.
Then that scene was weird for me because the marriage counselor is like, she's just an actor who's all like in all the current comedy films, and it's like, oh, weird. It's a film from 2020 all of a sudden, and not like this weird thing that's emerged from the 90s.
I guess I've actually like fallen off seeing most. I haven't seen many recent comedies. I don't like to laugh, man.
I don't watch a lot of recent comedies because my sense of humor has been so balked by all my time on the internet.
Right.
That mainstream comedy just isn't funny to me anymore.
Yeah, and then in Japan, just the like the sci-fi's, the actions, they make it here, but the comedies don't.
Okay, but one or two did. I got to see Jojo Rabbit.
Right.
And like I always say, even the serious films are comedies now.
Yeah.
And even the comedies are depressing. We're messing with genre.
This one basically plays with depressing as a joke, though, which is
Yeah.
nice. It's not.
Well, yeah. The joke
depressing.
is just that, like, oh yeah, they're failed musician dads, right? So.
I mean,
I wasn't like really like bummed the fuck out. Just like, it just had a very different tone to the other two because of that.
And I guess at this point in their lives, they're not successful. But,
Yeah.
But it showed that they actually, yes, they had some success.
Right.
Like, I guess their wives from the past aren't like footing the bill. Well, they're footing the bill now, but maybe like 10 years ago, like.
Yeah, they had a house and stuff, and they had been successful musicians.
They're back to loserhood because nobody wants to see a successful Bill and Ted.
Yeah, right.
The whole point is if they're successful, you've kind of lost it. So.
Well, yeah, because then like you're in a perfect utopian society or whatever, and that's not an interesting film.
Yeah, I guess that's where they couldn't make another sequel too long after.
Right, yeah.
Because the first one is just, we need to make sure that the band forms. You're not doing the thing. Bogus Journey's, oh, you're doing the thing now. And the new one's like, you kind of did, but not quite.
Yeah.
Did they just keep doing AC/DC cover albums and like abstract conceptual music or what?
Well, it did suggest that their first big hit, they did write their own song. But it just wasn't the song that united the world.
Yeah.
I see. And then you had the thing, I was sure they were going to do the thing of like, you can't actually see the song at the end of the film. Because like, that'd be pretty pretentious to write a song and be like, yeah, this is the song.
Well, the point's not the song
But then,
itself,
that was the twist. It was like, oh, it wasn't the song. It was just the fact that they became like infinite beings.
Well, I think everyone should get an instrument at school. I support that idea.
Yeah. I mean, I would just be playing like an upturned mixing bowl like I always do because I have so little musical talent.
I guess other actors?
We didn't really talk about Young Bill and Ted when I just said we were going to.
Yeah.
Billy and Thea. But yeah, they're really good. Like you said, they just... They are so Bill and Ted.
Yeah, there's no irony in what they're doing, right? Which is you can't.
Right.
do
That's
it.
yeah. That's why they never annoyed me like when the adults played Bill and Ted in Bogus Journey, right?
Mm-mm.
Because it never felt like they were making fun of anyone.
Yeah,
They were just vibing the way Bill and Ted did. I'm 100% behind that.
and they just picked up
So
some
everyone
weird
should live their lives.
affectations, but that's
Yeah. Well, they seemed like two girls who'd been raised by Bill and Ted.
exactly.
So they were like weird and useless, but also super nice.
They had quite a bit of music knowledge. Warren, Bill, and Ted. They could have handled that Morse code, not Morse code, the beeping.
Oh, the beeping thing from Short
Short
Circuit
Circuit
2.
2, yeah, they would have been able to follow along with that. Bill and Ted wouldn't.
Well, yeah, because the joke was Bill and Ted wanted to be rock stars, but had no musical talent until the end. Whereas these two have actually grown up immersed in music.
Yes. So that's cool. The missing actors. Let's do that a bit. And or do you want to talk about Dennis? I don't know. Or William Sadler. I guess I'll leave the path to you.
Oh, Dennis was just like it was a one joke character, but I found the joke kind of funny.
Yeah, okay, there we go.
And then you've got like stuff like Missy and the dad coming back.
Well, Dad shows up a little bit. Missy's definitely just the, oh, there she is. But
Yeah, but that was still a funny gag to continue the Missy marrying
yeah.
everyone.
Oh, yeah, I was like, what did I write? Is this like legalized incest now?
I mean, that was very 2020 to have some incest porn in there.
So that, William Sadler's death, I got a note from my dad just saying, yeah, the makeup is really beneficial for him. Cause,
Yeah, because it makes it look he doesn't age that much.
Right,
Unless he turns his head.
Yeah. And the 40-minute bass solo is quite wonderful.
Pretty funny.
I was like, well, I do stick 4-minute cello solos in our stuff sometimes, so I'm not one to talk.
Yeah. I liked the just the scene of them getting the band back together with Death.
Yeah.
It's like that's how you wish all your favourite bands could do it. They never do.
Well, that's how we assume it goes down, although I assume it really involves more lawyers and stuff.
Or just someone at the record company saying, look, here's a really big check. Please play a gig together again and pretend you're friends.
Did you ever hear about the Beatles thing?
No?
There was a joke that Saturday Night Live where they're like, we will offer $1,000 if the Beatles come and play a concert. And Lennon and McCartney were actually hanging out in New York that night, like for the first time in a while. And they're like, well, if we go down, we could ask for like half the money. Then they got stoned though and didn't go anywhere.
Would have been great if they'd done it.
Can we like half the money? Yeah, that would have been pretty cool. But yeah, that's how you get the band back together.
No, so the two I do want to talk about are the princesses.
Oh, okay. See, I guess I didn't like fully compute there because
They've been recast with actresses 10 years younger.
Oh yeah.
So I just looked it up. The original actress who played Elizabeth would be 51 right now.
Mm-hmm.
The actress playing her in this film is 44.
Okay.
So maybe there was like scheduling reasons they couldn't get the old actresses back. I'm willing to believe that. But it's like, oh no, Keanu and Bill can age, but you can't show women aging in a film, so their wives have to be 10 years younger than them.
Right. Yeah.
That's pretty bogus.
Yeah, I was glad I didn't quite notice that.
Well, because like, they were not the same actresses, because I kind of recognise these two actresses.
Mm-mm.
And
They
I
had
was
the
just-
80s hair though in the 80s, so I was like, maybe it's an 80s hair thing. Because
Yeah.
women look quite different with not 80s hair and 80s hair.
Yeah, but I've watched these 3 films in the past week, right? So yeah, those are definitely not the same actors. And I was like, they look a lot younger than Ted and Bill do. And yeah, it's like, oh, that's a bit... Come on, Hollywood.
I guess I was as I guess most viewers are focused on the daughters because that's the more interesting.
Yeah, the daughters were great.
Right.
And like the 2 women playing the wives were great.
Yeah, they were fine.
But it's
I
just
didn't
like,
notice the age
why would
thing.
you do that?
Yeah. Did you have a word about what holographic Carlin? Or was it? Or
I thought it was done nicely enough.
Okay, so it was the two princesses.
Yeah,
that were,
I thought that was
Sorry,
some bullshit.
I thought you were going to give me some weird take on the Carlin thing, but yeah, I thought that was fine. It's like the little museum hologram, nice way to get them in.
Yeah, I wonder who did the... They got a very good voice alike for when the camera cuts away from them.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that try and perfect their Carlin impressions.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, there have been times where they have done the bring a dead actor back thing, which I don't like.
Mm.
Like when they brought back Prince for a concert, and Prince was like so against all of that stuff. That's like a bit offensive. When Tupac was brought back to make money for the white man. That's kind of bullshit. But
Yeah, and in the case here, it is like, oh, my, you know, the...
It's a little
daughter's
loving
like,
homage, right?
Like, the character is also dead, so...
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Like Marlon Brando in Superman Returns, I didn't mind that.
Well, they just used old footage. That
Basically,
was,
and then
cutting
CGI'd it so it could go
that
around.
kind of works. There's other issues with that film, which we might talk about at some point.
Yeah. But I didn't have an issue with that one here. And the daughter was... I've seen her in stuff as well, but I don't know what. But yeah, she was convincing enough as a young Rufus.
Right. She was more like Bill and Ted's age.
Yeah.
I don't know what her age is, but...
Wait, but she's Rufus's daughter. So
Right, I just know
Yeah,
she
that's
was...
it.
They did cast a little... That's a case where they could have cast a younger actress and got away with it.
I guess. But yeah, she's playing the Rufus role. She can't be too young.
Yeah, true.
She has to come across like she knows better than Bill and Ted do.
She came across like Joan Cusack, but she's not.
No, she's been in stuff.
Okay.
I think she's actually a musician.
Oh, okay. I got
Oh,
it.
no, and I'm getting mixed up with a different woman.
Yeah. Anyway, that was the impression I got. There was kind of a Joan Cusack vibe there.
And then you got the future people who are just boring like they always are. Which is why you can't have a film set in the future utopia.
Okay, we just went down some rabbit holes, and Christian Shaw is actually slightly younger than the wives, sorry. But Flight of the Conchords.
I think that's what most of us,
And
me and you are most familiar with.
And the other one I had to just look up just now when we were having a short break is Samara Weaving, who plays Theo, is Hugo Weaving's niece. It's like, I just had to check. I was like...
There's not that many Weavings around, right?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it wouldn't be that uncommon a name, but I was like, is she related? And yes, she is. But niece. Okay.
She's nowhere near as creepy.
No, she's not as creepy. But I just wondered if there's a connection there or not, and there is. So, does this look enough like a Bill and Ted? Because the Bill and Ted movies had, like, fantastically crap effects.
It didn't until right at the end when they're playing their song.
Yeah.
And the effects that are like coming out of the instruments were classic Bill and Ted. Like drawn onto the frames with a felt tip effect.
Yeah, that was cool. Like the time circuit seemed like, you know, PlayStation 2 to 4 upgrade or something, right?
Yeah, but they still look pretty time circuity. But yeah, the future looked very different.
Yeah, it was more like what Guardians of the Galaxy future.
Yeah.
Or
But yeah, it was
was it-
like when they go to the Nova planet in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, as well said, it's not the future, is it? Technically, it's just a different planet.
Yeah, and then the robot and stuff was like way better effects.
Like I thought the site they used for the Bogus Journey Institute was a nice balance.
Right.
Because they're doing location shooting, so it's not.
That was
too
basically
cheesy.
just a TNG set, right?
Yeah, they use that for TNG a lot. That's probably one of the other reasons I liked it. I was like, just go back there, people.
Yeah,
I mean, that's cool.
a big TNG feel.
Because they were going for that big Agora thing and
Well, I
the
guess
boring future people. I mean, I would just build that weird chamber again. You know, people.
Yeah, this one felt more like Kelvin-verse future.
Yeah.
Shiny white iPod future that we always get these days.
Right. So I do kind of wish that they had stayed true to their just like straight up old school future thing. Hell's pretty much the same. Of course, a little more detail and digital, I guess, but...
Yeah, but if anything, it was like less over the top.
Yeah, they didn't have all that crazy stuff going down with the fear thing. I did like how the daughters, we're here, we're in hell, hey, we're good.
Well, that's just exactly how Bill and Ted were.
Well, they weren't good when they were being chased by their demons.
Yeah, when they first arrived, they just thought it was Mel.
Yeah.
Well, I guess when you first arrive at hell, it's different than how you, when you're, like, banished there.
Right.
Although, so, last time they went to hell because Missy, like, banished them there, right?
Yeah.
This time, they just died and went to hell. So is everyone in this film just a bad person?
Yeah, maybe, like, you know, when they did the seance, I mean, they could have gone upstairs as
If
well.
Bill and Ted, the saviors of the universe and architects of a utopian future, can't go to heaven?
They're fully capable of jacking their way into heaven, though.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that is a good point. And then Mozart's going to hell. Well, actually, he was a bit of a
Yeah, I think most famous musicians probably are going to hell.
You know about Mozart's letters to his mother and his sister?
No.
He'd write just like scatological jokes to them.
Oh, I think I have heard about that.
Like about how his shit smelled and stuff.
It's just banter.
Yeah. Okay, the choices for the musicians. One thing we talked about in the Excellent Adventure, they just are the characters.
Yeah.
Here they've... okay, you could argue like Beethoven later on had a kind of iconic film representation, but and Napoleon's had so many it doesn't matter. But you know, Hendrix had a few years ago with Andre 3000 playing him. The movie wasn't so great, but his portrayal of Hendrix was fantastic.
I suppose a big difference here, the historical figures from Excellent Adventure all predated being filmed. Whereas we have a video of Hendrix.
The Hendrix here is pretty good. The distraction, I mean, obviously I know he's not Hendrix. The distraction for me more was just having seen Andre 3000 a few years ago. And
I've not seen that film. So.
Again, he's great in it. The film itself is... you're better off reading a book about Hendrix.
You also you actually had a bunch of historical figures, but they didn't really talk or have roles. They just did like little sight gags. So
yeah, these ones
it's
are a
easy
little
to get
more
just a look-alike.
involved in the journey. You know, of course, Kid Cudi. They just got Kid Cudi, but that's not the biggest name either. So
Yeah.
I mean, he's perfectly popular. I'm just saying. Like,
I hadn't heard of him for this film.
Anyway, there we go. Okay. You know, Mozart. We had Amadeus, right?
Yeah.
Tom Hulce playing him, which I guess isn't quite as iconic as some other stuff, but yeah. There were more comparisons to make. I guess they've never really made a Louis Armstrong biopic. See, the Louis Armstrong we think of from film is like Old Man Louis, right?
Yeah.
Which
so
also Hendrix is like, aren't you supposed to be like 80?
Yeah. Yeah, so I didn't mind seeing Louis because, I haven't really seen him at that age before.
I do like how their Hendrix walks around with a Strat all the time, which was probably what Hendrix did anyway. So
Yeah. I also love that somehow they had knowledge of, like, an 11,000 BC drummer from, like, the African
they know a lot about music.
I know. I'm not being ironic. I genuinely love that.
That makes sense for getting a drummer.
Yeah.
So that was cool. So
And then, like the Chinese flutist.
yeah. But I do like they're collecting them for a reason instead of just that weird thing at the end of Excellent Adventure. It's like, we're all on stage. What are we gonna do now? Hey. Here it's like clear why they're all on stage.
Yeah.
So that's kind of nice.
Oh, do you mean the end of Bogus Journey? Where it's
No,
just
no.
like, it just happens, Station can play drums and Death can play bass.
No, I'm talking about Excellent Adventure where they're all
Well,
on
I mean,
stage
they were
and
supposed to be using them for a presentation.
Yeah, but it just in that case, like, okay, here we are, la la la. It's like King Kong, right? You put
Yeah.
King Kong on stage and just stare at him for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Maybe some chorus girls dance by every once in a while.
Yeah. Yeah, they've got like part A, but they haven't really bothered with the part B and C.
Right. I was like, what is it, the South?
Well, that actually here, they did acknowledge that because the girls got this band together, but hadn't like trained them to play any songs or anything.
They got Hendrix and Mozart jamming a bit.
Plus, that's what they did in the end. They just got everyone on throughout time and space jamming.
Yeah. So they all joined the universal consciousness at that point, so they didn't need to learn anything.
Yeah. They were transported through music.
Yeah. Oh wow, is this another Spaces place? Except the world doesn't blow up at the end, so it's more optimistic maybe.
Well, they prevented the world blowing up because they jammed.
Yeah. Well, they prevent the world.
Whereas Samurai came a bit too early for everyone to jam with him.
It's 2 minutes too late. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, but he was like, that was like, Space to Place 60s or 70s?
70s.
Yeah, the whole world wasn't ready to jam together yet.
No. But yeah. What What does they become infinite beings? How long does it take to hand out all those instruments?
Well, when you're an infinite
Where do they
being,
come from?
no time at all.
Yeah, I guess so. Okay. Just hanging from the precipice. Must have gotten boring though, even for an infinite being.
I don't think Bill and Ted are capable of boredom because, like, they're not aware that time is
They stop it. Hey, let's play a game. Okay. Move on to something. So.
They're playing 20 questions, and the answer is always tank.
So I'm sure there's plenty. Maybe we could have a few movies of them just distributing instruments and up to weird hijinks in between the handouts.
So they should just, every movie that comes out for the rest of time, just have a cameo of Keanu Reeves or Alex Winter just turning up and adding an instrument to someone. Like the Nick Fury at the end of Marvel films. Still hand them there.
That'd be good. I'm down with that. They should do that. So, yeah.
Or, YouTube people out there, if you want to just edit that into films.
Well, there we go. You make films how you want now, 'cause if you can make films.
Yep.
Which is, I guess, questionable.
I mean, I've seen some really impressive deep fakes, so you can just do what you want now.
I've heard people say you can always kind of tell when it's Photoshopped, though. There's a tell somewhere. I guess if you got a good eye for video editing.
Yeah, but to the layman.
Yeah.
And if you plan it in advance.
I bet all the news is deep fakes. None of that's happening.
Don't go down that rabbit hole, Matt.
Everything.
All I know exists is what's in this room. And that little bit of that roof I can see out the window. In terms of sequels and reboots and remakes and stuff, I felt that this film had just the right amount of little nostalgia things.
Yeah, it's legit. It's a legitimate sequel.
Yeah.
But
it had little things from the old ones, but it didn't really shoehorn them down your throat.
Well, there's a bit of reboot in that the girls are more or less, redoing the first movie.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I think you put in your notes, the girls are redoing Excellent Adventure and Bill and Ted are redoing Bogus Journey. But,
Which sounds about right.
yeah. But Bill and Ted's thing was kind of new. They were going through their future, which we hadn't really seen.
Mm-mm-mm.
But then everyone went to hell at the end and did a bit of a Bogus Journey.
Yeah. Bogus Journey doesn't really go through time, does it?
Not much.
No.
They use it at the end to beat Denolis.
Yeah, but...
And of course he came from the future.
Right. But, I mean, Bill and
Yeah,
Ted
it's primarily about going through the afterlife.
They do not have a travel through time in that, except for going and learning to play guitar and setting up their traps and stuff.
I did enjoy the dad at the start. You didn't travel through time, you didn't go to heaven and hell.
I do like how they really cannot set it up in this. Maybe, when it's like, we can do all this tomorrow, they can fix it, but when it's like,
The universe will cease to exist if we don't fix it.
When we can do this over years, it doesn't work out. Like are Bill and Ted always, on the precipice of becoming horrible people?
Were they ever, horrible people, though?
But
Even when they were, failures, they weren't...
Let's think about the first one.
Oh, I just remembered the one joke that really fucking got me. It's when Bill had passed Bill at gunpoint. And he's like, you don't need that gun. And he's like, really? Look what happens if I don't use it. And they try and run away. And he's like, see? I don't know, that was really funny to me.
That was fun. But, in the first one, Ted's going to be sent off to military school, and Bill's just become a depressive slacker on their own. So they're on the verge of at least becoming depressing people in the first one.
Yeah, but they were still...
Maybe Ted goes to military school and comes out John Wick,
Well, that's what military school's meant to do, right? Train your humanity. But...
Right. The second one kind of same, except for some reason Bill's also being threatened with going to military school, which doesn't quite make sense.
By Satan.
Oh no, they got Dad or the commander at the beginning. Both of you. I guess it's just
that's just because
veiled threat.
No, that's just what the army does. When you don't have any financial prospects, they drag you off to military school. That's why education is not free in America. Because then there would be no poor people to send over to kill brown people.
Maybe that's why we don't have businesses in America anymore.
Just get everyone conscripted. Sorted.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's in the military.
It's the American dream, isn't it?
I get so much.
The whole populace is just a militia.
I get so much junk email now for job offers at major corporations,
Mm-hmm.
and they're all.
Yeah, we've talked about this. I get
they're
the same.
Yeah, they're mostly addressed to a mixture of my wife and my name.
I still
So they're-
occasionally get emails to Dr. Eric Ville, which I did just because I wanted to get some posts labeled Dr. Evil.
That's fun, yeah. But yeah, it's all like, Miss Suku, do you want a job? Which that's not even a real name, so it's kind of fun.
Fun. But yeah, as in terms like the air guitar, we only got it like twice in this film.
That's
No,
fine.
but that's what I mean. That was the right amount.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of like, I like that, but it didn't go on and on about it. And we got like that one Rufus moment, but that was
Yeah.
just a nice little passing thing.
Right.
It wasn't like, well, I haven't seen it yet, but that Ghostbusters trailer, right? That we watched.
I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
where
I
it's
was
so
explaining.
like maudlin and like, do you remember when the Ghostbusters were a thing? And blah, blah, blah. And it's like, this just looks like insulting to my intelligence, if anything.
Yeah, it's like the air guitars that do you remember, and the rest of the time we get on with new stuff. Because they're,
Yeah.
again, one of the reasons I like Buff Bill and Ted is just these movies are supposed to have surprisingly absurd jokes that the first time you see them, it's kind of like, really?
Yeah. Well, like, British Bill and Ted was really fun.
Oh, yeah,
as
that
well.
was great, too.
I guess you're just bloody well rubbed off.
like Home Madonna, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely love the dandy Bill and Ted. That's kind of what Hendrix did, though, yeah?
Yeah.
I don't think he never affected the accent, but he definitely went to Swingin' 67 London and took on the look.
But the tone of the film, like by having crazy Bill and Ted adventures, that's what makes you feel like, oh yeah, it's like being back with Bill and Ted.
Right.
Whereas if they just kept reminding you of stuff in the other two films, it wouldn't feel like those films felt.
Yeah, I mean, we would have been like, I think people would have been disappointed if we didn't see Death again, but that was like almost the first time we got like other than Rufus, that's the first time we got like a serious callback to the first couple.
But I mean, his dad was still around. Missy and Deacon.
Oh, right. Well, Missy was on,
Oh
barely
yeah,
on
right at the
screen.
start.
Yeah.
But she was never a huge role in any of them.
No, of
It
course.
was just a joke.
No, and it was a fantastic joke in the new one. And Dad was always in them a little bit in the old
Yeah.
ones. I wouldn't say that's like a nostalgia thing. He seemed a
Yeah,
little
well,
older
yeah,
to still
I
have
guess-
that job.
I guess neither of those guys, you're like, I can't wait to see Ted's dad.
Just you.
Whereas you are really excited to see Death.
Bill's
So,
dad was
that's
not in there though.
I don't remember seeing
He
him.
might have been in the wedding, but like in the Wesley Crusher in the last Star Trek.
Yeah.
Or the next gen one.
They had to write like 5 novels to explain.
Yeah. 9.
9?
It was like 9 novels. Well, they only explained his thing in like 2 of them, but
Right.
yeah, they wrote like a ridiculous number of novels to explain away Nemesis.
And then made Picard to explain it away even further.
Yeah. So there's that. Where were we? Ted. Yeah, Ted said I was too old for the job. I definitely see where I totally conflated him with the Step Brothers dad too.
Oh, yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
That wedding scene is so much. I mean, they're not ripping it off, but there's definitely.
Well,
some
it's a
parallels.
wedding scene and he looks like Ted. And it's, yeah,
And they
it's
play-
disappointing sons playing with music.
Yeah. So.
I really liked how they had the scene with their own, like, older dying selves. And Ted was clearly just sorting out his daddy issues with his own self.
There was the post credit scene with them
Yeah.
trying to rock before they die.
I just liked the line, "You dead yet? No. Are you?"
They didn't die at the end of the scene though, which would have been depressing. So
Yeah.
that's good.
I don't Ted never die.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's.
Also, Ted's dad was fully prepared to just go in and execute him.
Yeah. Well, he wouldn't have recognized his son with all the dandified clothes anyway. Yeah. I do like the idea of let's just steal Dave Grohl's song and give it to our younger selves.
So here's something. Every single twist in this film you saw coming, right?
Right.
Like, from the moment it's Preston and... You're like, okay, the daughters write the song. And then it's like, they're in that big house, like, well, it's not their house. There were no actual... The only surprise was Buff, Bill and Ted.
Maybe that's why that's the best thing in all 3 of the movies.
Yeah.
Well, that and falling down the pit to hell in the second.
That was great.
Just let us never forget that. But the movie's not about surprise. Bill and Ted don't want to be surprised.
Well, Bill and Ted never are surprised, even when something insane happens.
So,
This is great.
so that's where we roll with it, yeah.
I just, like, you always talk about how, like, it bothers you when a message is pushed too hard.
Right.
And, like, everyone knew actually, it was their daughter's thing was what was coming. So why did they even bother trying to, like, tease it and be smart about it?
Yeah. And by
Like, there were so many other things which they played very knowing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the audience already knows this, so we can have some fun with it. Whereas if they just made it from the start of the film, the daughters already know, like, oh yeah, we've written this song, what are our dads doing? They're being ridiculous. But they didn't. They tried to make it a big twist, and it just wasn't.
Yeah, well, they had to go have their own adventure to stake their claim, I guess.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like, hey, look, here are the girls. They just went off.
Oh no, yeah, that was all done really well. It's literally just the Preston and Logan. It's like, okay, I know. We all know. Stop pretending this is clever.
That was the thing when we, earlier this week, we recorded the other two Bill and Ted movies, and you're like, what, you already watched the new one? I'm like, yeah, there's nothing really to spoil here.
Oh yeah. Like I said, it wasn't a spoilers thing. It's just I didn't want to have that one in my brain.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying, but you can see
There's nothing in Matt's brain anyway, so
it's pretty easy to kind of just take a scalpel and I think mentally separate them pretty easily.
Fair enough.
It's also very new memories versus very old memories between the old ones. So,
Yeah, true. Yeah, I didn't need to watch the old ones to do those podcasts. They were very clear in my head.
Honestly, my run in the future will probably be Bogus Journey in this one. I said before, and X Adventure's not a bad movie, but for some reason it never quite did it for me. Like, I really like Bill and Ted in it, but I'm like, oh, I like seeing them in Bogus Journey better because it's just more insane story. And then this one definitely has the insane story factor in play, so maybe not quite as insane as Bogus, because that's probably one of the more insane Hollywood movies that's come down the pike. But
Right.
but hey, it's definitely in that.
Well, yeah, this one
realm.
tried a little, not enough that was a problem. It explained things a bit too much.
Yeah.
It was trying to actually have like a sci-fi plot. It's like, I don't care.
Yeah, like, I mean, Dennis comes back to kill them. It's like, there didn't really need to be a bunch of political machinations there. It's just like, they'd be like, hey, he could have short-circuited.
Oh no, I didn't mind that. They're like, well, maybe it's not that they play the song. Maybe they just have to die.
Yeah, that was fun.
I thought that was a fun.
Yeah, okay, but yeah, there was several scenes of thinking about that decision thing. Which,
And just, I really loved the joke of like, oh, it's a robot and he's learned that it's wrong to kill and he's becoming like just no one giving a shit.
then him refusing to kill Bill and Ted.
Like every time he tries to speak, just no one cares.
Well, I kept writing in my... No, I wrote in the plot, like, paranoid android. I was like, maybe it's a Radiohead reference.
So I think I still keep calling him Derek, and it's Dennis.
Yeah.
Is it Dennis McCoy? Dennis Caleb McCoy?
Something like that. The point is he has a three name.
Yeah.
He's not like Sting or the aforementioned Madonna. Should go with one... I mean, I guess for this podcast we do have one name, but...
Yeah.
What would you...
Well, I can totally pull that... We can both totally pull that off in Japan.
Yeah, what would your one name be? You can't just go Luke.
No, I'm thinking.
Again, it was a Sting, Madonna.
I guess with Luke Summerhays, that could just be Summer. But that's a bit...
Hippie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's only me, is it?
Anyway, if y'all know what our one name should
Fuckmeister!
There we go.
I do sometimes, well, when I'm very drunk and I meet someone new, and I'm doing introductions, I always just give them my name is Chuck and I'm here to fuck. It never goes down well.
I don't imagine it does.
They're just like, yeah, I'm Sarah and I'm not.
Did you just commit a crime?
I in my head, I always assume everyone's going to know. Oh, it's just a joke. They don't. I forget that until you know me, I look kind of intimidating.
How about job? How about job interviews? That'd be a good time for one. It says here your name is Luke Summerhays.
No, my name is Chuck, and I'm here to fuck.
You'd get that.
You're hired.
Yeah.
Good film, innit?
Sure. I'm sitting here like, oh, should we talk about if it's going to last? Of course it will. You want to watch? You already want to watch the first couple Bill and Ted's if you want to watch them, which a lot of people do, and now they have 3 to watch.
Yeah.
I've never seen the animated adventures.
I've never seen animated adventures or the live action adventures. I don't feel like I need to.
I did note they did contribute their voices to the animated ones.
Oh, did they actually?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So that made me a little more interested in actually watching it sometime.
Because I was going to say, the main appeal of Bill and Ted is just watching these 2 dudes.
Yeah, so they do the voices. I know I just got hold of the Star Trek animated again, which I have in the States.
Do you mean the TAS or the new one?
Both of them, to be honest, but TAS.
Right.
Yeah.
That's, all the Star Trek before Discovery is just on Netflix.
Yeah.
Oh, and Discovery. Here in Japan.
But it came as like totally bizarre. Actually, all those original Star Trek stuff get.
Yeah, I've got those weird plastic case things.
Those
Yeah,
are cool. So I don't have that now, which is too bad. But
I saw them in the book off in Matsumoto.
oh, okay. No, I have I have the DVDs now, just in a sleeve, right? So
yeah,
I guess I don't. If the packaging's thrown away or in America, so.
I mean, they're all on the flicks, so I don't care.
Doesn't matter.
Although that same book off also had loads of Star Trek ship model kits, so I was tempted by.
Yeah, you have to work a little bit harder though, I guess, to find the Bill and Ted animated series.
Right. Although it's probably it's probably just like on YouTube or something.
Yeah. Anyway, now I just when I was reading through stuff last night, that's when they actually did the voices for that. So now I'm a little more curious to at least have a look at an episode or two because there's not that much Bill and Ted, So I guess that's where this is. There wasn't much to start with, even considering the animated one. So a little more is nice.
Yeah,
especially if they can pull it off.
Bill and Ted cereal.
That sounds familiar.
When the films were popular and the animated series was popular, there was Bill and Ted cereal.
Yeah, I seem to remember seeing a box track because the first one, was quite, especially with people around the age of 10, was extremely popular when it came out. So
I don't eat a lot of cereal these days anyway because I don't really bother to buy milk. But
and if you get into Bill and Ted age 10, it's never going away. So
yeah, we never had as a kid, I had British cereals which are not as exciting as American.
Yeah, we
have laws about how much sugar you can stuff into a child.
Wimps.
Yeah, I know, right? So I never tried like Lucky Charms and Fruit Loops till I was a grown man.
See, I just mixed them.
That's the bomb.
When I was in university, I had this, I had like the mess hall. That's not the right one. What were they?
Common area?
That's not the right one. The place where they got the food. Dining hall, there we go.
Okay.
And, just the food was at like the institutional bland. Japan doesn't have that, by the way. I was in the hospital for food's they just kept trying to make me eat rice or bread, and I didn't want that. But the food was actually not bad.
Oh, yeah, they care a lot about food here.
Yeah, institutional food in America is terrible. So I just quit trying to eat what they were cooking. And I just put together Fruit Loops and Lucky Charms. They call them Happy Charm Lucky Fruits or something.
Okay.
I just mixed it in and put happy at the start. So
yeah.
I guess that's where I gained that college weight.
It sounds like. What's the REM song? Shiny, happy people having fun? Like, happy, lucky, fruity charms.
Yeah. This was Athens GA, so it all comes together. REM does hate that song, by the way.
Oh,
they
good. Fuck them.
They were apparently the record execs told them like, you guys didn't write a hit for this album. So they're like, okay, here's our hit, and it was. And they're like, oh crap. So I don't think they play it live too often, but yeah, they were doing it just to be obnoxious, being told they didn't have their hit on the album. Which that one had Losing My Religion was not the hit, I guess, according to
that's
the record.
like the REM song that I think of.
Yeah. But that was, and the rest, there is some moody stuff on that album. I can see where maybe it is good stuff. I can see where they might want some shiny nobody wants shiny happy people.
I'm a shiny happy person.
Just listen to the B-52s. I mean, they got the singer in the REM song anyway, right? So for the REM podcast.
What do you think of the choice of Dave Grohl, a successful musician you can steal from?
For Bill and Ted, that seems like the right choice.
I guess.
I mean,
like tearing up, like it's so good. The historical musicians they got in, I thought that was great.
Yeah, Hendrix was almost, well, of course Bill and Ted like Hendrix, but it almost seemed like too upscale a choice, right?
Yeah.
I mean, God, who else? Just for someone that everyone's going to recognize, he did the played the devil for Tenacious D's, the tribute to the greatest song ever written, right?
Yeah.
And they're kind of there, so... I mean, honestly, I've never been, like, too into the Foo Fighters, and he didn't really write for Nirvana or anything, so...
He just seems like real, like, white bread.
Yeah, he's...
Like, it might as well have been Coldplay.
Yeah, exactly, but, he seems...
But, like, I guess, yeah, who is still around who rocks?
Dave Grohl was in Nirvana. I guess
know he was.
That's the thing that pushes him above the edge, is his association of having been in a really good band.
Yeah.
Maybe pushes him just that extra notch you need over, like, you know, because, I mean, God, what mainstream rock acts are even out there that, like,
They're
rape?
still alive.
Yeah.
Able to stand upright for long enough to have a cameo in a film.
Right, that would be, I mean, yeah, getting Keith Richards on it would make no sense at this point.
Yeah.
You need someone, like, a little more coherent, I guess.
Well, and you could still just look at them and recognize them. It was like, yeah, like, sure, the guys from Queen are still around, but they just look like old dads now.
Well, I guess we'd still recognize Mick or Keith. They just keep getting more and more wrinkled.
Yeah. 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 I don't know who else they would choose, but...
See, if it was 5 years ago, it would have been Bowie, and that would have been awesome.
God, I'd have loved it if they had Bowie cameo.
Yeah.
And then it would have made more sense with the British thing as well, because they would have actually been in, like, England.
Yeah. So it's unfortunate that Bowie has passed on, because that would have been, like you said, the ones we need are dead.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So yeah, just who do you use other than Dave Grohl? But you know, maybe just don't.
Again, Bogus Journey gives us Jim Martin.
True.
Nothing wrong with Jim Martin, but I mean, come on, it's not like the top of the world there, music wise. So
yeah, it's just. Not enough people are out there rocking right now.
Yeah. Honestly, Dave Grohl makes a lot more sense than Jim Martin, because he's been doing it for 30 years, so...
Here's a fun thought. Isn't it cool how, for like the past 70 years, just rocking on a guitar has never become uncool?
As a proficient guitarist, I don't know if it's cool anymore. It's still cool?
It's still like, people do think like, oh, it's kind of lame when you're at a party, and you're just like, oh, I'm just going to jam out on my guitar. But like, just... being in a garage and having a band with your friends and playing guitar, well, is still something that is cool to a young person.
Yeah, do we do that? I mean, I did that, obviously, growing up, but do Americans still do that? Do
Yeah,
British
people
do
still
that?
have bands, yeah.
Japan's weird in that being in a band and playing guitar is actually a girl thing in Japan.
Yeah.
You don't run across many guys that are playing guitar or something, but the girls want to... What are they trying to... They want to sound like a... Not K-pop, because they don't have...
J-pop, because it's Japan.
Yeah, no, but then I had a student yesterday who's really into like the BTS or whatever. So I don't know how guitars fit into. I don't know how guitars fit in this, but yeah, Japan's weird in that we've. It's almost like Billy and Thea didn't faze me, because I've been teaching these people for the past 15 years.
Yeah, I had a student like last year who was real. She just seems like the most sensible, normal Japanese schoolgirl. She plays drums in a rock and roll band.
Yeah,
like, yeah.
Now these bands often they play at the actual school. That's not cool for an old punk rocker.
No, like the power.
I guess it's nice they let them do that, because I don't think they let us do that at my high school. But
I mean, I remember my high school graduation. The two lamest dudes in the year went up and played
American
"Wake
Pop.
Me Up When September Ends."
Oh, okay.
But the drummer was so loud you couldn't hear the guy who liked singing and playing guitar.
No bass. Okay, that sounds about right.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well,
Johnny B.
I guess that's gonna bring us to the end of our adventure through time and space and hell, and not heaven in this one, but yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, weirdly.
Heaven is everyone rocking out together at the end, man.
Yeah, maybe heaven didn't exist until they fixed time and space.
Yeah, there you go.
That's why everyone went to hell. That's my headcanon.
Yeah. Oh, I guess before we completely wrap up, one recent movie that had a very, not the same, but similar-ish climax was that Mr. Peabody movie.
Oh.
The animated one.
I know it came out, I never watched it.
It's not bad. It's not
I
bad.
don't even know.
It has the whole thing where like time and space is breaking down and like things from random times like falling out of the sky.
Okay.
So it did occur to me that was another one.
I mean, Doctor Who's done that stuff plenty of times.
Yeah, very Whovian ending, but just for a feature-length film, that kind of one that's underrated and I like, by the way. So I guess I should rate it with that. But yeah, hopefully we'll see Bill and Ted again sometime. I mean,
I don't think we need to.
I don't know if we need to, and I can't imagine we actually will.
Well, I'd love it if we see them in like 20 years.
Yeah. I mean, let's face the music. We didn't expect to see them this late and enjoy it, so, you know, fool me again, that's cool.
Yeah, I was very happy with this
You
film.
fool me and it works, let's do it. Where do they get in touch with us?
If you want to follow the podcast on Twitter, it's at MLSFS Pod. Want to get in touch on Facebook, you can go to just search Matt Luke's Sci-Fi Sanctuary. Make sure you subscribe, give us a 5-star rating on iTunes. If you're listening on YouTube, press like or whatever. Do that stuff.
I guess I'm just going to use the same music this week as last week.
Yeah, makes sense.
I only have so many, like, wailing guitar tracks.
We need to wail on more guitars then.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and I want that future sound, right?
If you want to hear Matt's
just
music,
rock.
you can go to rovingsagemedia.bandcamp.com.
Yeah.
Or you can just, like, let yourself enter the universe, and then you'll be everywhere at all times and all places. So you'll hear Matt when he's making the music live.
There we go. And for Luke loves PKMN at
Yep.
Twitter.
You can check out my other podcast. It's about Pokemon. If you want to talk about the weird balancing act of new things and nostalgia, we've got plenty of that. You can find that on Twitter at LukeLovesPKMN, as Matt said. It's on Facebook, same address. Listen to it on your podcasting app of choice. You know how to listen to podcasts.
I didn't know this is podcast.
You're listening to one right now.
I'm recording one right now, not listening to it.
Oh, they are.
Oh,
Not you.
I thought you were talking to me.
Never talking to you.
You talking to me? Ain't no one else here.
I tolerate you. I'm talking to the listeners.
And what should they do? Is that the beginning of Led Zeppelin's Immigrant Song?
No idea.
Wasn't a guitar.
Next week, Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home.
The mirror will melt your being now you know. Out of this, from a diva's kiss. Out of this, from your finest wish. Far away, live to the city of the domes. Those left outside chaperone. outside the shadow. Oh, love. Find a way into the city of the dawn. Those left outside